Bill, if you come with me, you'll float too. 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 Hi, folks. This is Real Honesty with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland. This is a review of It, which, oh Christ, I thought it was going to be shit. I was wrong. This blows, I mean, not that it had a high watermark for the original, the miniseries that had Tim Curry and Ed O'Toole, John Ritter, and a handful of other people in there. Not that it was going to be, not that it had to aim high to be better than that, but oh my God, this was better. Oh, this was leagues better. Bill Skarsgård, magnifique performance, fantastic performance as Pennywise. Every other, character that every other actor that played one of the kid roles or whatever, they did great. They did great stuff. Even the bully characters were fine. There were certain things that were different. According to Stephen King, this was a lot closer to the book. It's been years since I read the book. I just want to make that clear. It's been years since I read the book. So I don't know just how close it is. Because, it's like fleeting memories of the book. I do remember the book being very good, very long, but it's very good. This seemed to be closer. Now, there's a lot more body horror, a lot more computer-generated effects that some of them were a little meh. That's one quibble I will say, is some of the computer-generated effects were a little bit meh. Quite a few of them were good. And there were a lot of really good practical effects. There's a lot of really good use of blood. Oh Christ, is there a good amount of blood in this? Of course, the TV movie, the original TV movie, TV miniseries on NBC. I mean, they could only show a certain amount of blood. And they did what they could with it. This is like if you just took the chains off, you took the gloves off, and you just let them be as visceral as possible. And it grabs you from the very opening. You know what's going to happen. That's the thing. It's not necessarily it's not so much unpredictable, but it's the fun kind of predictable. And they throw a lot of good jump scares at you. This is probably the most I've jumped at a horror movie in a long time. Probably the most I've jumped since The Strangers. And I don't put that lightly because The Strangers is on my top 25 favorite horror movies of all time, which is a show I will be doing in October. And quick shout out is a suggestion from at WWE NXT guy. A friend of mine named Justin, friend of mine on Twitter, great guy, has his own YouTube channel. Anyway, cheap plug. But this, the movie It, was just fantastic. It was fantastic. There were quibbles with it, don't get me wrong. It made you love the main characters, the good people. It made you hate the bad characters, and that's what a movie is supposed to do. There was a lot of clear-cut stuff. It did show how bullying is a vicious cycle. You'll see what I mean when you watch it. But for those that don't know the story, possible spoilers here, this takes place in the town of Derry, Maine. And a creature wakes up after 27 years and feasts on fear and feasts on children. And I don't know what he does in between those 27 years. He sleeps, he reads 27 years worth of newspapers in a basement. He counts his collection of skulls. I'm not really sure. Maybe he counts his collection of bottle caps. I'm not really sure. But the bottom line is when he wakes up, all shit breaks loose in the town of Derry. Lots of accidents that one of the kids studies up on, the new kid. The new kid on the block, which, of course, he's listening to New Kids on the Block. That's kind of funny. But there was a good mixture of, these kids seemed like actual kids. They would make dumb decisions. They would think that even though they're like, okay, we have to band together to fight this evil. Because because adults can't see it. Only kids can. Which kind of puts the whole, second part of the movie kind of into question. But maybe it's because they were, touched by the evil and affected by him. But I want to say this for Andy, and I want to get this name right, for director Andy Muschietti, I think Muschietti. Not like The Weapon. He directed Mama in 2013, which explains why I like this movie, because Mama was also really good. Now, I don't want to say quite top 25 horror movies, probably top 50. Mama was just really good. It kind of lost me towards the end, but it had a lot of really good stuff to it. With this, so Bill Skarsgård, great performance, just great, spectacular. My thing is, he was from Sweden. There's nothing wrong with that, but I wonder if his accent kept getting in the way. I mean, if he had any accent or whatever, I haven't heard interviews with the guy, but if he's from Sweden, if he has any kind of accent, I kind of noticed that something got in the way. Maybe he was just maybe it was just the voice that he was doing, and he was just putting a spin on the whole thing with Pennywise. That's entirely possible, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was really good. It was a really good performance anyway. Kids all delivered their performances fine. Sophia Lillis, who was a lone girl in the group, playing a lone girl in the group, she did well. I think she's got a very bright future. There's a lot of really good young talent here. I think these kid actors, if they grow from here and do even bigger projects, it'll be fantastic for them. I thought everybody played their roles well. Everybody's backstories were fleshed out really well. My only issue, and maybe it's just me expecting a little more, is the black kid in there who he was Chosen Jacobs. I had to get the full name right. That was the character's name, played by Mike Hanlon. His backstory at first was fine. Like he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to do the line of work that he may be forced to do. That much I'll say. Meat packing, that kind of stuff. Dealing with sheep. I'll leave it at that. Maybe he doesn't want to do that kind of work. But other than that, he was like the one character that kind of didn't get as fleshed out. It did create like what his greatest fear is. And everybody had their greatest fear. Some clowns, some zombies, or lepers, some blood. There was a lot of really just good visceral horror here. I mean, and some of it, I would say it seemed gimmicky, but the way it was directed and the way it was written, the way it was, the way the musical score was done, it was well done. Yeah, you had a lot of computer-generated effects. You did have some practical effects in there. Some practical effects that were pretty good. Some body horror stuff that was really good. There were variations and spins and stuff like that, like the deadlights that Pennywise it has. How are they going to do that differently? They did it pretty differently and pretty inventively, I might add. There was plenty of good stuff to it. And this is just chapter 1. The second chapter, this is how good and fleshed out it was. This is all the kids. This is all about the kids. And it was good and fleshed out at 2 minutes, or 2 minutes, 15 seconds, 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's the way you do things. That's the way you present people well and present the cast well. Everybody had a flaw. Everybody had a reason for wanting to fight it. Everybody had a reason for not wanting to fight it. Their greatest fears, their greatest triumphs, like, who, of course, Bill, played by Jaden Lieberher. And by the way, and I'm sorry, I mischose the black kid actually was named Chosen Jacobs, and he played Mike. So I'm sorry about that. I kind of misspoke. But the kid that played Bill, I thought was fine. He played the role very well. He obviously was the main focus of the character. Movie wanted to get this great evil that took his brother Georgie, and I mean that's the main thing of the movie. So it's a driving force. He wants to find his brother. He wants to have that peace brought to him. Unfortunately, it leads to a lot of unspeakable horror. But that's the one thing, is there's a lot of really good jump scares in it. I mean, a lot of good jump scares. I'm not going to spoil them here, but even in the beginning, with Georgie and Pennywise talking, there's a really good jump scare. There's just a lot of really good stuff to it. Like, I mean, I know this review is going a little bit long, but this is how you do a horror. One is how you do a horror remake. Two, this is how you do a horror remake right. And that was one thing. It was really, really good. Bill Skarsgård, I don't know if he should be up for an Oscar for this, but maybe. I mean, maybe. Because it was a really, really good role. He did really, really well. He made you terrified of clowns or even your greatest fear. And I mean, I'm terrified of clowns, so yeah, there was a particular scene in the movie that featured a lot of them that I didn't like. But I'm gonna let that slide. But again, no spoilers. But this was just how you do horror. It was really, really good. I mean, it was really good. I can't sing its praises enough. There were flaws. It was not a flawless horror movie. The last few minutes seem a little cheesy and I don't want to say packed on, but they seem a little cheesy. But it was handled very, very well. It was directed very well. It had a good flow to it. Like I said, everybody's backstories got told well, except for Chosen Jacobs, except for Mike's. His was good. It wasn't great, but everybody else's, there was a good layering of characters, or character building, and everybody had their flaws. Everybody had their great, their strengths, their weaknesses. And even the bullies played well. Even in the main bully played fine. So really all around just great stuff. Can't say enough good things about it. I'm going to leave that off on here. So if you guys have seen it, what were your favorite parts? What did you enjoy? Leave them in the comments. Like, share, subscribe also. It's been Real Honesty with John Rittland. I'm John Rittland, and I will see you soon.